Hi, I'm Mrs. Osmond, and this is Mr. Harvey, and, and we're two of your on-level chemistry teachers at Walton. We're going to talk today about what this is and what we do with it. Glassware is kept in the glassware drawer because if you put it in the metal cabinet, it will break. So,
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
How are the students supposed to know what's in the glassware drawer?
Excellent question. If we bring the camera over here and I'll pull some of the glassware out, you can see that we have a kind of like a map in here that shows the description of each piece of glassware and how many of each one you should have. So let's start with the thermometer. You will find a thermometer in usually a white plastic case in your drawer. Please be careful when you pull it out because the top does come off and you can drop the thermometer.
Okay, so I take this thermometer and I stir stuff, right?
No, because you could break the thermometer.
All right, so what you're saying is if I keep stirring stuff, even though I don't know, and I break a couple thermometers, what does that mean? Do I get to buy those thermometers?
You get to buy us some more thermometers.
Oh, all right.
But instead of stirring with a thermometer, let's use the glass stirring rod. This is made for stirring.
That's good.
Okay. My favorite piece of lab equipment. This is called a rubber policeman. And no, I don't know why it's called a rubber policeman. I have even researched it, and nobody knows why it's called a rubber policeman. But we use this for scraping out material that we can't get out any other way.
And we use that because it works a lot better than the glass stirring rod.
Excellent. Okay. The last thing in the tray here are our 6 test tubes for running experiments with, which we can use for various things. Be sure and clean those out with the test tube brush after each time you use them.
Okay, now, what are these?
These are called beakers.
And I use these to measure stuff out with, right?
No. We use those for...
Not even a little bit?
Not even a little bit. We use those for mixing.
So I never use this stuff for measuring stuff, even though it has little lines on there.
Those aren't very accurate.
No.
Those are kind of like guesstimates. Same thing with the Erlenmeyer flask that you just put up there. Those are just kind of rough estimates of the volumes at those points.
So what am I going to use to measure volume?
When you need to measure volume, this is what our friends, the graduated cylinders, are for. We keep a 50 milliliter and a 10 milliliter graduated cylinder in each drawer for measuring out liquids.
Okay, so are those real accurate?
Those are much more accurate than this piece of glassware, but there's even more accurate ways of measuring, which we will show you.
And that's specialty stuff.
Specialty stuff that we keep in the back that we don't keep out here because it's very, very expensive for highly accurate volume measurements. All right? So this is a tour of our lab equipment. When you come back to class, you will also tour the drawer and the metal cabinet. And is that it, Mr. Harvey?
That looks like it so far.
Okay.
Aside from...
the test tubes?
Well, test tubes and juggling test tubes. Am I allowed to do this? And
juggling test tubes is not allowed. I'm sorry.
And if by accident, if I break something that's glass, what do we do with that? Who picks that up?
Oh, well, we don't want anybody to get hurt. Safety's number one here. So if you break something, you need to call your teacher and have them clean up the glassware because we don't want you to get hurt.
So this is one of the few times that your teachers are going to clean up after you, when you break glassware. Otherwise, you're responsible for keeping this area extremely neat and extremely clean, and you do get graded on that.
Okay, so when you handle this equipment, you want to be very careful so that it doesn't fall. And because if it should fall, it might break, and then you would have to pay to replace it. Or there's something maybe even a little bit worse.